Police and military personnel embark on the search and retrieval of illegal weapons in various locations at the Agbogbloshie market to prevent fighting in the area.
It's a visible part of the policing we are doing. The intelligence guys are also on it, getting us the information. Whenever we get the information and it's concrete, we will strike on it.
Already, a local weapon manufacturer has been picked up by the police and military parading the ground. You recall a similar exercise by the Small Arms Commission to retrieve illegal arms did not yield the needed result. So how effective will this exercise be? Is that all we need to bring an end to this damning conflict between the Kokombes and the Gombes? Well, the Northern Region NPP chairman, Bugri Naabu, has been calling for more police deployment. Failure to do so, he warns, will result in dire consequences.
You can all see there's zero tension in the market. Zero tension. If care is not made, it cannot be controlled. So I'm appealing the IGP to get up and see to it that more police are in the market.
We'll be hearing from the police, the Small Arms Commission, plus some independent analysis from security analysts on this matter. This is today's big story. My name is Aisha. A bloody clash between Kokombes and Dagombes at the Agbogbloshie market this week resulted in the death of one person, leaving another in coma. A pregnant woman who was also shot is in critical condition at the hospital. Now, the police say they're well equipped to execute this assignment. We can listen to ACP George Tetteh, who is leading this exercise.
We are here with two sections of the water cannon and two teams of Mavericks, that the crowd control units. We wish we could tell you the number, but the number should not be given offhand like that. Together with us are the military who supported Accra regional operations. But we are coming in the national front to keep the peace, assure the public that we are able to control situations and then let people go about their normal duties.
What will be the status report you're able to give us? We know that a few days back it was a bit fluid, quite volatile, but as it stands now, what can you say about the level of security over here?
It's been very well. You know, the IGP was here with members of the police administration yesterday, talking to the people, and after the press conference, assured the public that the police can confidently handle situations when they come. And I think today, the reports that we had from the personnel who performed the night duties was very nice. We want to come and give assurance to our personnel, boost their morale, and also assure the public that the police are confident to go about their duties, given the support of our administration and the government in general.
Have we made any further arrests following your operations and investigations here?
So far, we haven't. For today, we haven't had any reports from our men on the ground. But we are still operating, going to both sides, and we are talking, the police negotiation teams are talking to the both sides to see an amicable settlement to the issue.
Yesterday, the Interior Minister was here. He met the leaders of the two ethnic groups. And then one interesting point that he addressed was how to retrieve the weapons that they have actually legally. How did you go about retrieving these weapons? What discussions or operations are you deploying so far? Because these weapons can actually be used at any time. What are we doing to retrieve these things?
Well, you know, we need intelligence gathering. And intelligence, for now, this is a visible part of the policing we are doing. The intelligence guys are also on it, getting us the information. Whenever we get the information and it's concrete, we will strike on it.
Okay.
But Northern Regional Chairman of the NPP, Bugri Naabu, who is unhappy with the situation, wants more police personnel to be deployed in the area. Failure to do so, he warns, could be detrimental.
We should allow the security agents who work on behalf of the government to investigate this thoroughly and bring the perpetrated into books. nobody can kill and get away free. And that's why we are here to come and to give our consent by the government that they are going to work on it. You can all see there's zero tension in the market. Zero tension. If care is not made, it cannot be controlled. So I'm appealing the IGP to get up and see to it that more police are in the market. We've seen some soldiers, but most of the police are not here. We see car parks, no uniform police will come. I see about 2 people. This crisis should not be 2 policemen or 3 policemen. So IGP, I beg you, see to it that there will be peace and maximum security in the market.
All right, DCOP Tetteh who was also in the area today, and he has assured that there will continue to be police visibility until the police is setting, the place is sane.
Life has returned to normalcy. People are moving briskly up and down. You know, the young markets are also now booming up. So that means that goods are now coming out, unlike before, when most of these goods are kept in the vehicles and some were going bad. But I think with the heavy security presence, both police and military, I think there's assurance to the people that now they can work in freedom. All that we are saying is that let us continue to maintain peace, because in such situations in a war, there's no victor and there's no vanquished. So we all have to work together as a team. We are one nation, one people, whatever it is. Now I think most of the opinion leaders are now having talk with them. So all we are conveying to all communities up north is that they should know that now life has returned to normalcy in Accra. So nobody should think anything contrary. They should all go about their normal duties up there, and then nobody should attack the neighbor, because we want peace, we want development, so that we move forward as one country.
A very final one from me. We've realized that all the time that the media has been here, there's been heavy security presence here, and that indeed has calmed the waters. How long is this going to be, or how long will the security presence remain in order to deal with the situation?
It will continue until we are actually satisfied that they can now live together without any problem. So security will continue to be here. And then as and when the Inspector General of Police and Interior Minister decide that where we have reached, we have to stand down, we'll stand down.
All right, let's do some analysis now. Joining us via phone is David Agbogbloshie, Executive Director of the Ghana Institute of Governance and Security. Dave, you're welcome on today's big story.
Yeah, thank you so much, Aisha.
Dave, you have lauded this move by the police to disarm the 2 factions in Agbogbloshie, but you feel it is not the solution to the situation at hand. In fact, you describe it as a scratch in the face. Your reasons?
Yes, Aisha, let me, first of all, appreciate the fact that the security agencies are doing a lot as far as East Agbogbloshie clashes are concerned. Both the military and the police, and especially the media, you are quite involved in making sure that we find a solution to the endemic, problem that we're faced with. But then I must also say that I do also appreciate the call made by the IGP that it is quite important at this point in time that the politicians in this country, especially what I will call people who understand public policy, needs to find a way of identifying the problem around Agbogbloshie, market, and be able to find a solution to it. Ordinary politicians, ministers of state and MPs might not be able, what they will be doing is to just be crying like, babies. But people who really understand public policy, when something of this nature happens, they need to step in there and be able to identify the problems and profile solutions to some of these things happening. Aisha, I must say that Agbogbloshie, as you are aware, is a deposit of conflict in the area, the deficit of conflict in the area is so much that, government needs to find a solution to it, because one of the key fundamentals of a government is to be able to identify problems within society and be able to find a solution to it. And so paying lip services here and there by politicians will not be able to, get a solution to the Agbogbloshie problem. So I must say that I really support the idea by the IGP that relocation at this point in time is quite crucial.
All right, David Agbe, I'll have you hold, because joining me in the studio also is Jones Apple, who is Executive Secretary of the Small Arms Commission. You're welcome on today's Big Story.
Thank you.
But are you convinced that the exercise to disarm the two factions in Agbogbloshie will yield any positive results?
But that's a very difficult one.
I'm asking this on the back of the fact that you have organized a similar exercise, though nationwide, and we didn't see much.
What we did was a different exercise. We did what we call the amnesty, where we wanted people to bring their illicit weapons
themselves,
for us to register.
Exactly.
So they could hold them legally.
Right.
What the Minister of Interior is calling for is the standard practice in trying to disarm or trying to clean any area of weapons. And that is what we call cordon and search. So you go to an area, you seal off the place, you move in, you do house-to-house search in a bid to retrieve the weapons. Most of the time, these things, if you want to do them, there are certain factors that must be present. First of all, it must be intelligence-led.
Right.
You can't just wake up and go there. And there's always the surprise element that is also very critical. So I believe as we speak now, a lot of things are going on there, because I believe that the Minister of Interior will just not make such a pronouncement without being fed with some kind of intelligence or something that would drive him to make such a statement that they're going to clean Agbogbloshie. So I believe that all the factors are being looked at. It will, as to whether it will yield positive results or not, I believe with what we've seen and if I should say, the information that we've picked up indicates that there are weapons there. So if it's properly done and we don't allow people to escape, then all things being equal, we expect to see some illicit weapons.
Well, there are people who also feel that this alone cannot be a panacea to the kind of situation we are having to battle with in that area.
Absolutely yes. Absolutely yes. Absolutely yes. I mean, I have listened to a lot of the radio commentaries and narratives in a few days or when this matter started. And a lot of people think that it is a political issue. From where we sit, if you ask me, I would tell you that I see it more of an ethnic and economic issue.
Right.
If you ask me, because I don't think that I come from Nungwa. I have my kith and kin trading with people from Teshin.
Right.
I can't see how they can be fighting because somebody says I belong to this party A or party B.
Right.
But sometimes when there are simmering tensions, you know, this I would say a transported or transferred fight.
Okay.
Kokumba, Dagomba fight.
Right.
And they've brought it all the way. So you can see that it's now taking another dimension.
All right.
For us in conflict prevention, what we don't want is religious and political conflicts. But that's very difficult to manage because you share the same ideology with a person. And so instead of confining it to one particular, before you know, it's spreading. So I don't want that connotation that is a political conflict. For me, there's no political conflict. And I'm happy that the government and the Ministry of Interior is treating it as such. That is a pure criminal matter.
Okay.
You understand? And they're going to investigate whoever is found culpable will face the full rigors of the law. I'm happy with that.
Okay.
Because that assures all Ghanaians. One of the things that you need to do is, as a country, as a people, is we need constantly to boost confidence and assure our citizens that the state security services are up to the task. So I'm happy with the posture that the government is taking and the posture that the IGP is taking.
Ms. Apple, I'll have you hold and speak with David Agbe, who joins us on the phone. Dave, what do you recommend? You say this alone cannot bring solution to what we're facing now. What do you recommend can be done to resolve this conflict?
Yes, Aisha, I express such a view because retrieval or retrieving all the arms or any weapons or anything that could endanger somebody's life over there is not the solution. I said so based on the fact that historically, you do know that it was through conflict that brought many people from the northern region to Agbogbloshie market. And so that was why I said there is a deposit of conflict, I mean, at the area already. And so the best thing for government to do now is to find a way of, navigating through it by making sure that they resettle, the people. Resettlement and rehabilitation of the urban poor is something that government needs to focus on at this point in time. Nobody is saying that I mean, you cannot come to Accra to do any business. But the fact of the matter is that Agbogbloshie market is a prone area full of conflict. And so government needs to be aware of that and be able to profile a solution. And so some of the solutions that we will recommend is the fact that resettlement and rehabilitation of the people is quite an important one at this point. And so government needs to actually work on it. They need to dialogue with the community leaders. Here we are that already they have various, committees, or you have the Konkombas, you have the other, faction group where they respect one another already. But, at a certain point in time, conflict will emerge. And so while we have those community leaders, let's try to dialogue with them that no, enough is enough. We cannot continuously postpone the conflict in the area. So it is quite important at this point in time that government find a certain place for, relocation, of the people from that, Agbogbloshie area. So that
indeed, the IGP shares your view, Dave. The IGP has also proposed the total removal of the settlement as a long-term solution. But you and I were in this country when there was a similar exercise at the Sodom and Gomorrah, trying to remove the people or relocate them. You saw the tension. You feel this will be an easy task?
That is why we have leaders in the country. Aisha, you do know and you've traveled extensively. Let me say that you cannot go to any other country in the world and then in an urban city like Greater Accra, which is the capital, and all these, slums are dotted all over. It doesn't give a good image to Greater Accra. And so all those areas that are full of, slums here and there, government needs to identify all those areas and try to reconstruct the whole area to give a good image to, Greater Accra. So it is a very, big decision to take, that the government is in there to be able to craft a policy to find a way of resolving, a situation. That is why we go into the polls to vote for a government. We go in there to vote for leaders so that they can, determine how society needs to be well, governed. If we leave everything, everybody could do anything that, what pleases the conscience of the person. But government is there to be able to regulate the activities of our human beings, to be able to regulate, humanity, so that we will all respect, and maintain law and order within a society and its, confines.
Dave, let me hold you on. Have you hold 1 more minute and speak with David Apple, Jones Apple. This kind of situation we're facing at the Agbogbloshie market could be a wake-up call, to the kind of danger the country is in with individuals having access to illegal arms. Is this worrying? Are you worried about this situation? What plans are you putting in place to deal with similar slum areas with regards to this?
I mean, before I go on, I believe that what the Minister for the Interior suggested is not a one-stop solution to the Agbogbloshie problem. You need a myriad of, strategies in order to address the Agbogbloshie problem. You can't just use one issue. What is tried, I believe the directive is informed by what is happening now. In the immediate to short term, what must we do? For now, we are thinking about resettlement, we are thinking about relocate long term. But what can we do immediately to ensure that Agbogbloshie will be peaceful and Agbogbloshie will not endanger the life of the people in Accra.
How
And
about
so
other
for
areas
me,
that have the potential?
and so for me, what the minister is suggesting that look, let's cut down the area, let's search and let's clean the well. That is a strategy that they use everywhere in the world. I've seen it in Brazil, I've seen it in South Africa, I've seen it in Jamaica, etc., where they clean the area. They actually move in, they cut down the whole area, they move in, they search house to house. So, but I'm saying that you can't use that. You need a cocktail. You understand? So, whilst you're doing this, you want to ensure that you have other mechanisms, other peaceful ways of resolving conflicts and, you know, conflict resolution mechanisms, and you want to do everything. Now, I have always borrowed the quotation of Mahatma Gandhi that we need to let our people know. And he says that an eye for an eye leads to blindness. So tit for tat is not good. That is what we need to let our people. We are now talking about resettlement, so we are thinking about moving into another area. First of all, standing here, I will be very worried if they are moved wholesale to another area, like we're trying to do in Ajinkutoku.
Right.
That is basically transferring the problem from Accra to Ajinkutoku.
To another area.
And that's why you find them also saying, I'm robbers, I can't, that kind of thing.
Exactly.
I will prefer a situation where if there's going to be any resettlement or whatever, it's done in
batches.
You understand? So you won't transfer the wholesale Agbogbloshie problem to an area. You understand?
Right.
But quite apart from everything, I'm saying that, look, we must let the people understand. We must get into civil society organizations that are interested in peaceful coexistence. To use this as a test case. Move in and let the people of Agbogbloshie know that, look, resolving differences using guns doesn't augur well or will not bring solution to anybody.
You think they don't know?
I don't think anybody has drawn their attention to that. That look, because everywhere, including almighty America, anywhere where you have a lot of weapon proliferation, it leads to high incidence of violence.
But in all of these, I think a strong intelligence team by the police will help
Absolutely.
a lot. And Dave, we all know, and you're one of the people who have criticized the police that their intelligence is weak. What is your expectation of this search and retrieval of weapons?
Yes, Asha, in intelligence, gathering, one of the key things is that people need to continuously put their ears on the ground in any environment that they operate. And so if you have Agbogbloshie, where there is this continuous occurrence of conflict among, people, and then you do not have police people continuously there, making sure that they try as much as possible to maintain law and order, and certain things will happen. Then you see police people jumping in there, firefighting approach. Then it tells you that our security agencies are sleeping on their job, because you are being taught that human beings are complex in all situations, and so conflict can emanate within a society. And so conflict exists within a society. You need to, find a way and a mechanism of trying to put your ears in there and be able to fish for information, so that you don't wait till the issue comes up before you jump in there with water and all those things. Then it means that you are just scratching the face of the problem. But
So
you need to...
In essence, the police must be proactive.
More than that, because they are being taught to be more alert than, any other person in a society. So you don't have to wait for certain things to happen. Be prepared is one of the key, things that any security officer needs to be aware of. And you need to be more alert and you need to be more proactive to ensure that your ears are on the ground psychologically.
To be able to deal with
the minds of certain group of people, so that you don't wait for certain things to happen and then you jump in there, trying to cool tempers down. Then it means that, understanding security is actually lacking.
All right. Many thanks to David Agbe, is Executive Director of the Ghana Institute of Governance and Security. Jones, what role is the Small Arms Commission playing in all of this?
Normally when the conflict is at this stage where it's more of it has become like a theater of conflict, the Small Arms Commission really When a place is cleaned up, then we can go in with our proactive interventions, as he's talking about. You see, but one thing is that, without holding brief for the police service, actually, intelligence is a very expensive exercise.
Definitely.
And so, I don't know, I will plead that the police is enabled, and the BNI, etc., national security apparatus should be enabled to gather intelligence. Because look, cultivating informants, it's not a joke. Cultivating informants will be giving you tip-offs.
This brings back the conversation of how successful your exercise, your nationwide exercise of people coming in to submit their arms for it to be registered. How successful
it was?
You know,
that exercise was based on the, if I would say, it was based on the exigencies of the time. We were getting to elections. We were seeing a lot of gun seizures. Some of the guns were, if I should say, pistols, civil weapons that people.
But that doesn't rest the matter that we still have over 1 million illegal arms in town.
Absolutely. So what I'm saying is that it was based upon what was happening at that time. The government felt that, look, why don't we declare amnesty? It's, in disarmament and trying to clean up or trying to get weapons, there are various strategies.
I want to believe that you have another strategy once election is over.
I mean,
are we going
for
to
example, in the Agbogbloshie issue, 2 strategies are the possibilities that you can use. What the Minister of Interior is recommending, that is the cordon and search, move in and clean the area. Or you can decide to go and do what we call a weapon buyback.
So which one is
weapon
the Small Arms Commission doing?
The Small Arms Commission will come in when the Ministry of Interior and the police have cleaned up the area. Then we can engage the factions. And we and the Peace Council, that's where we come in. But let me finish with the point I'm making. That look, we have the weapon buyback and the cordon and search. The minister has proposed a cordon and search that go in and clean the area, which means we are going to seize any illicit weapon. The second option is to go and do the weapon buyback. Weapon buyback is contingent on a number of factors. It's contingent upon the fact that you are going to resolve the underlying factors that is causing it. Because if somebody feels that, look, he has a security challenge, no matter the award or no matter the reward that you place on the person,
he will still defend
he will still have his gun.
All right.
If I think that if I give my gun, I can be killed. If you offer $100,000,
I will not give at night. Well, many thanks to you, Jones Appley, for passing through. He's Executive Director of the Small Arms Commission. We've been talking about the Agbogbloshie clash this week, and we're told police is on the ground and they're searching and retrieving arms from the area to bring lasting peace in that area. We're still following up. We'll bring you updates in our subsequent bulletin. My name is Aisha Ibrahim. Have a great one.